This is Milton Metz, and I am very pleased to have the great one himself here. We have been having calls from all over America saying, is it true that there's going to be a birthday party for Bob Hope? There is rumor that you recently had a birthday. Yes.
We need one more, don't we?
Your Kennedy Center show. Who's this man next to you, by
I don't know this fella. Help me in here. I don't know who it is.
Foster.
I just saw Mr. Hope walking by, and I thought I'd just walk close to him so somebody might think I know him.
I've been informed that it's necessary to play very close to the mic, if you don't mind. These aren't very expensive, and we have to get close to them, Bob. Listen, you can't do better in a birthday party, Bob, than have the President of the United States there doing one-liners for you.
Oh, yeah, he was super. And we did that ad-lib thing in the Lincoln Room. And we're supposed to do 5 minutes. We wound up doing 45 minutes, and we have to cut it down. So I have about 40 minutes left that I'm going to use sometime because it's very valuable.
It must be gold.
Yeah, right.
Have you slept in the White House in the Lincoln Room?
Yeah, I have. That's my third trip there. I slept there.
You keep a pair of pajamas there, right?
No, no, I don't. No, I stayed an extra day, and they charged me for it.
Foster, how did you meet Bob Hope?
I think, it was at your golf tournament, at Bob's golf tournament, I believe, in Palm Springs, when someone asked him to have me on the show, and I believe Bob thought I was a comedian he had seen with Perry Como before. But when I got down there, he realized he had never seen me. I might wish he hadn't. But anyway, it went over real well, and we've been friends since then.
It sure did go over well, I'll tell you that.
He says he's so thrilled that you came and you brought your wife, and you're going to stay this time. You flew in and out like a bat last year.
Yeah, I had some other kind of commitment, but we worked it out so we could stay for the dinner, you know.
Your monologue was wonderful in Washington. It was so sharp.
Well, you know, that's a fantastic audience, and a lot of friends out there.
Your Crosby gag was a real side splitter.
Yeah, I think that was kind of hot because everybody's thinking about that, you know. In fact, I told my kids to write the book early so I can figure out who to put in the will.
Many years ago, Bob, the station flew me out to Warner Brothers, and you were very nice to me. I did an interview with you when Jules Stein was raising money for our Lion's Eye research.
Right.
And the station invested a few bucks, and I came out to Warner Brothers, and you introduced me. Foster, I nearly died. I walked into this big sound stage, and there's Mr. Hope there, and the first thing he comes forward, doesn't know me from Adam, and says, Milton Metz. I said, yes. He said, I want you to meet Jimmy Stewart. I couldn't go on from there. You know, I just come from Kentucky, you know, and I'm just a bluegrass boy, and you were just great. So I said that I had read on the plane coming was when Crosby was still alive. I said, in this article, Crosby said, the rug I used to cut, I now wear on my head. And you said you were surprised because he never talked about wearing a toupee before.
Yeah, he used to surprise people like that. He didn't want me to do any jokes about his toupee, you know. Then he walked on a show in England called In Town Tonight, and this is radio, and he looked out at about 200 people. He said, boy, 200 people, if I'd known this, I'd have worn my hair. And I almost fainted.
He never talked about that.
Yeah, he had a ban on it, you know.
The president said, did the president say to you, now can I call you Pops? Is that was his line?
Yeah, well, that's a very inside thing because all my grandchildren call me Pops. And I don't know, really don't know how the president found that out.
Well, you've been a long-time friends of his.
Yeah, we have, but you know, I don't hang around with him too much nowadays.
When you're there privately in a you know, having a drink with him or a lunch, what do you call the president?
You call him Mr. President.
Always?
If you're real informal and you're alone, you can say Ron, you know. But in front of anybody, it's protocol to say Mr. President. I call him Prez.
There you go.
That cuts it down if you're in a hurry.
What number president is this that you've known, Bob?
This is the 9th that I've known real well.
He's got some wonderful lines. He's
marvelous. And I'll tell you, we had dinner there the night of the show. We had to eat at 6 because we had to be in the theater by 7:25. We did nothing but talk jokes all the time.
Really?
And he can remember Jessel jokes.
Oh, my.
He's fantastic. And the sense of humor this man has.
It's hard to dislike the president, regardless of what politics you have.
You're so right. You're so right. He comes through so big, and he's the best. I think he's the best communicator we've ever had in there, you know.
When you saw Foster for the first time in his lovable lush role, were you taken in, Bob?
Was I? I certainly was. And, of course, I'd heard about him, but I didn't know he was that good. And then he stayed over and did another thing that same week for the press. We went out to, what's La Quinta. And he did another show for the press because I've never seen him before, and I invited him out there. I wanted he wanted to knock the press out, too.
He said when he went to England, nobody knew him when he got off. But when he got through, he was offered 3 sitcoms.
That's right. That's right.
You know, with all your topical humor, and I personally think that you've been on top all this time because you've changed with the times. You never show any dated material. But I don't think, no matter who has been the butt of your humor, they've ever been offended by your jokes.
No, we walk that narrow line, you know, and that's a matter of editing and taste. And you got to be that way. I mean, there's no other way because otherwise you lose audience. They know from my past history that I've taken cracks at every president, whether they're what their party affiliation. So you got that's the job to do, just to make sure that you edit yourself right.
But are there mean comics in the business? Funny but mean?
Yeah, I think so. There's also some careless comics. You know,
what do you mean?
Well, I don't want to quote them, but fellas that have hurt themselves by digging a little deep, you know?
Where they draw a little blood.
That's exactly. People don't like that.
How did you do on the course today? How did you do on the course?
I drew blood. My own.
If we'd have stayed out there, I think we'd have won the tournament. We quit it. We played 12 holes, and we were 17 under.
Wow.
Yeah.
The best score is 21 or 22 under with 18 holes.
Is that right?
Yeah. We were going pretty well there.
Why didn't you stay? You were playing the best golf. I could have, you know, they were thinking about me, you know, and they didn't want me to go too far because I've had this eye problem. And I told Foster, I said, I'll play about 9 holes. Then it was so good, I said, well, I'll play 12 holes. But if I'd known that, I could have just been a sort of a technical advisor.
Oh, really?
You know, and gone along with it.
Well, it was wonderful having you out there as long as we did and having you here at our dinner. This is something that we look forward to someday, but never expected at this time. And I want to thank you publicly.
The money raised.
Oh, has to be the biggest. I'm sure this has. I know as far as the crowd was concerned, we had more people out there today than ever. I'm sure it was over 20,000.
Yes, I think you can take a lot of credit for it, Bob.
Well, they were nice people out there. They're party people. We had so many laughs, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did.
Well, there were these people yelling and screaming, happy birthday. I hope this is the end of it. I've had it for 3 weeks.
What was it? And Burns was funny with you, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, Burns is funny. Burns is something else. He's a vaudevillian, and when he works out there, I watched him. He's solid ham, but a delightful ham. And when he works out there, he grows a foot taller after his first laugh.
But he's much your senior, though, isn't he?
He sure is. He's the only guy that calls me Sonny, and I appreciate it.
What did he say? He says 80. What's that? Go, you tell the lie.
Yeah, he said 80. No, I love this. He said, I'm not going to retire. Bob's not going to retire. How could I retire? He said, I need the work, you know? He said, I'm too old to retire. And besides, who would support my parents?
He said when he was 80, he had acne, I believe. Right?
No, yeah. When I was 80, I had pimples, he said. That was a sensational line.
Foster, it's wonderful of you to bring Bob Hope here.
Thank you, Milton. Thank you for all the things you've done for us, and you've done plenty.
And for the city, too. And Foster, I congratulate you. I understand that for the children, you've raised over $100,000 at least today.
I think so. I believe it'll be over 100.
You know, he grabbed me away from my salad just to come over here and see you because he said, you've done such a great job for this charity. I think it's wonderful.
But I'm going to have to grab you and take you back now, or you'll be sitting here all night signing autographs.
Fine. Thank you very much. Bob Hope.
Did you want Bob to sign this for you?
Yes. And we'll continue. This is Metz at the Hyatt with Foster Brooks and Bob Hope. More after this.